If you write fiction, you need to read this book. What book am I talking about? I'm talking about this book, Story Trumps Structure by Stephen James. You will find a link to it in the comments description of this video. So why do I say that you need this book? Well, first of all, I will just say that I've read a lot of craft books. I was blown away by this book, or one chapter especially in this book, titled Causality. The first sentence says, "Causality is the chain that holds a story together." And then he goes on to talk about, you have a scene, you know what's going to happen. All right, you finish. And now what does the events in that chapter cause to happen next? And usually there's a whole bunch of things, right? You're making up the story. So there's a whole bunch of things. So that's when you can say, well, what would make it worse for my character? And then he's also got the chapters where you go, what would my character do next? Or what else might he do? Or what's the worst possible thing he could do? Because a story isn't just about events happening in a character's life. It's about things getting worse and worse and worse in a character's life until they've come to the worst point ever, and then they resolve the problem, and that's the end of the story. So the second reason that you need to read this book is because it is filled with charts and questions that will guide you in applying the principles that he gives. For example, I've had a client say, I want someone to tell me what a plot hole is and how I'm supposed to find them in my story. Okay, well, he has a chart that says, here's the problems in your story, and here's how to fix them, and here's the chapter that details it more. Oh, do you have too much description? Well, here's how you fix that. Oh, you've got a coincidence? Here's how you fix that. So, and that's just one chapter toward the end of the books where he talks about the incongruities that might be wrong in your story, things that will derail it and make the reader go, yeah, right, I don't believe you. So the third reason why you need this book is that it's perfect for both pantsers and plotters. And the reason I know this is because I'm in the middle of the two. I do a little bit of plotting, but mostly once I start writing, it's by the seat of my pants. I just go and go and go, okay? But I will tell you that you should prepare to be offended, because in one chapter of this, so in the beginning, he says, all the people who teach structure are wrong and they shouldn't be saying that that's the only way to write stories. And then in a chapter, he says, yes, writing stories organically, as I'm teaching you, is the only way to write stories. Wait. They're all wrong, but you're right. So prepare to be offended, and just know that if you've been writing long enough, like I have, and working with writers long enough, you know there is more than one way to write a really great story. So I would say read craft books and take what helps you write a better story away from them and toss out the rest with the bathwater. Yes. So once I find my tabbies, I was looking all over for them yesterday when I finished up reading this book. This will become a regular resource alongside my revision Bible, which I've mentioned before, called Plot and Structure. Yes, there's also a link to James Scott Bell's Plot and Structure in the description of this video. But does anyone see the irony in that picture? Story trumps structure. Plot and structure. That's because there's not one way to write your story, but you need to write it.